Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, a music podcast where friends gather around and share albums with each other. It's like a little book club for music. I'm Petey Rave, your man with no plan. Here with me is my team, my squad, my crew, my compadres, my friends. We've got Brett.
I'm Garfield, and I hate Mondays. Meow.
We've got Drew.
I wish I had like a Heathcliff joke queued up. We need to talk about these more.
And we've got Patrick.
At least we can all agree lasagna's delicious.
And luckily, though we all hate Mondays. Luckily, this show posts on a Tuesday. So
Fuck normal.
Going up on a Tuesday.
Yeah. We're talking about music. Talking about an album. The provider of the album this week, it is his turn this week, is Patrick. Patrick, what album have you brought forth to the Midnight Society?
It's 1995, and third wave ska is happening, and Dancehall Crashers released their album Lockjaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not even in high school yet. I'm like in middle school, eating bread tangles of pizza. Brett, what were your expectations coming into this album?
I never listened to this album. This album was not something that was in my CD booklet, but I certainly went to skate parks, and I certainly heard a lot of this.
Yes.
So I am familiar.
Yes. Drew, what were your expectations coming into this album?
Well, it's a ska record from the 90s. Like, what? You're asking me if I had like expectations? Like, what? I knew what was coming up.
Yes.
I knew what brought me.
Yes. I will say I'm probably the only one who I think hadn't heard a lot of this album or a lot of Dancehall Crashers. So I was the one probably the most going in with less knowledge. Most going with I don't know. But I had some expectations. I knew it was going to be a little bit ska-y, but didn't know exactly what that meant. But
It's the band from that one Blink 182 song that girl said she listens to.
Yes. Patrick, how would you describe this album musically? What would be the themes and elements that make up this record?
So musically, it's third wave ska. It stays in its lane in that regard. The thing that I feel like for me that makes it really unique is you have two lead vocalists, both female, who do like cool harmony shit constantly. And it makes it kind of different and more interesting than some of the other bands in this genre. It's one of those albums that I don't remember how it ended up in my life, but I can't remember not listening to it at this point. So it sounds like third wave ska, but but with a sort of a unique take on the vocals, and I think it does it really well.
Mm-hmm. Brett, how would you describe this album musically?
Well, we've covered a lot of the contemporary albums in this genre and of the decade that this album came out in.
You're welcome.
There's some things that line up with expectations and some that don't. There's probably going to be, let's just guess, there's going to be a guy who plays power chords and plays them like with like palm muted and doing upstrokes on the offbeat, and like maybe some surfer blues licks thrown in every now and then. Maybe the bass goes and walks for a little while. Go figure. It's sort of par for the course. The drums work well, but like honestly, you aren't coming to this album for any of those things at all, except for maybe the upstroke guitar, because you got to have that. Like you got to be down on the on the offbeat. But like the vocals. The vocals are what you show up for. They stand out. At times they go full Gwen Stefani, but guess what? There's two of them. So like the Voodoo Glow Skulls were the Band Geek Mafia, and I'd imagine that this is just like the choir geek kind of like, ooh, this tickles my fancy. Sometimes it sounds like it's the early No Doubt, like the stuff that we listen to here before they started making money and changing. Sometimes it sounds like World War II era, like Armed Forces Radio, which, go figure. Women making harmonies. There's not a whole lot of genres of music. You're not going to see a lot of rock and roll or blues bands where there's two ladies that are harmonizing the way that they're harmonizing here. It makes the music immediately identifiable. You listen to this band, you know exactly who you're listening to. Which is great in a genre that is kind of known for a lot of sameness, and it's kind of a relatively simple and very mature genre. So like bending things is noteworthy. But this is definitely of its time and place. This is dripping 1995.
It is caked in 1995.
You can smell the Bigfoot pizza coming from Pizza Hut, and your book it stamps.
Yes.
And the Goosebumps books that have been checked out for way too long at the school library.
You can hear the pogs being struck down.
The cubes are totally being gleamed.
Yes. Drew, how would you describe this album musically? What would be the themes and elements?
Well, to me, Dancehall Crashers is just one of those bands that feels like they've been around in one form or another for forever. Like in my head, they're a band that their brand of like the ska-punk thing, that third wave thing, is almost at times, if say this was made now, the same exact album, it would almost be like it's a parody because of how much it's that like 90s like California ska sound to a T. But missing the horns, which is I think why I don't listen to as much Dancehall Crashers as some other bands. They don't have as much utilization of the horny side that I like the ska to be on sometimes, but where
not
it lacks
horny
in that,
enough.
yeah, I like a lot of horny music. Everything from something like the W's to Prince. If we're talking about horny music, hey yo, we got jokes. But where it lacks in like
take your wagers.
But where it lacks in that, like I said, the dueling female vocals make this really cool. It's female vocals in ska work really well, as evident by Save Ferris, by No Doubt.
I thought you were just gonna say Save Ferris and completely ignore the like multi-Grammy awards. That
man, it's still
somebody made a lot of money off of your genre, Drew. Someone made a bunch of money.
I know, and I'm still salty that the album Rocksteady had nothing to do with the genre that God.
It also didn't rock, and it was not that steady. So,
but those vocals, I think,
a peanut or a nut.
Yes. What's the deal?
What's the deal?
No, with bugbears, no bugs, no bears. What's the deal?
But the thing to me too,
maybe it's peanut.
Maybe it's not.
Oh, Jesus, I didn't expect that to come up.
God damn it.
It's the punchy second episode.
It's getting late. This bottle is getting a lot emptier.
But the thing about the album in general is that for a band of this era and this type, the musicianship was really, really tight. This is a band that knew what they were doing when they got into the studio and just sort of like banged one of these out and did it well, and everything is tight and everything sounds good. It's something that's weird to think that this started from a Tim and Matt like side project to become what it was afterwards, but like
Tim who and Matt who? The millennials out there don't know.
If you don't know, look up a little band called Operation Ivy. Kids.
Wait, what? Leaf?
Wait, that had a guy named Lint in it. Who's Tim?
Or sorry, Lint, not Leaf.
Yeah, Lint.
It's just as dumb.
Lint.
They did a concert in a laundromat, so that is fucking hilarious. Now that I think put those two things together,
but it's something that there is some good stuff going on here. But if you're not a fan of female vocalists, maybe not for you. But the dueling of it, they really elevate this album to something else.
Yeah, I think I like the quote of the review on their Wikipedia page from Pemberton Roach on AllMusic.
Your trusted source at AllMusic.
Quote, rather than celebrate the meathead / frat boy misogyny and overly simplistic anarchistic politics that have plagued a lot of quote third wave end quote ska and punk pop, dancehall crashers choose to throw a big old party end quote. Mm-hmm. So I like that.
It's almost like they're crashing dance halls.
Yes. But yeah, Patrick, let's talk about some of the key tracks. What would be some of the key tracks for you?
Opening track, Shelly. This was the song that introduced me to the band, and it's still really good. The way I always, if you have to like kind of describe, and I probably should have said this up front, the harmonies remind me of the girls from the B-52s. It's the only thing I can think to compare it to, because they do a lot of like non-traditional harmonizing things, and they kind of, back and forth with who's doing what. But it is, I would say, slightly reminiscent of that, but now with more third wave.
I want to hear Fred Schneider in this band now. Like, to throw a Fred Schneider in there, you've got a gold album right here.
Yes. But so Shelly, it's just, I mean, it is just third wave, but with fun vocals. And it's a catchy ass song. Queen for a Day. This totally feels like 1995. Like, this album drips of 1995, as was said. And again, like, really catchy hook. It's got like, there was this guitar tone in the mid 90s, which I think was mostly like, distortion pedals in front of Marshalls and or Mesa Boogies that just all the punk guys did.
And Jazz Masters and Jaguars.
Yeah. And I dig that sound a lot. It sounded cool. It's like, there's like it's really, really like a super smooth, clean distortion kind of sound that they did. Good for Nothing. That's if you want to know what the vocals are all about on this album, just skip straight to that. It exists, I think, almost solely just to have really cool vocal work on it. And it's nice to get like sort of a change of pace, slower song, because third wave records, like, you need like 2 ballads. It's like the rules. That's how it works. And I'll do one more, Go, which I just love that song. It opened their live. They have a live album that's kind of great, and this opened it, and it probably could have opened this album. And again, sounds like 1995 in all the right places. And it's really fun. It's got a fun guitar riff, and there's a little solo in it. And guitar solos and punk music's kind of okay.
Yeah. Speaking of 90s in all the right places, I just looked, and apparently I can Amazon Prime a collection of 100 unused Pogs and a pair of Slammers for $18.
That's too much
expensive.
Money. That is
seems entirely too expensive.
Dude, it's corrugated pucks.
Yes.
It's the caps. Things from under milk caps.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Literally milk caps.
Hey, I got my Nintendo Power Mega Man X Pogs, but
I wish I could find my Pogs. Somewhere in the world, there's a tube of my Pogs just floating around.
I never was a Pog guy.
I only ever had a few.
I had a lot. I had a really nice slammer that was thick plastic and rubber on one end, and the rubber part smelled like blueberries.
It took a long time for Pogs to get to the Midwest from Hawaii or wherever it was from. Yeah. So, Magic the Gathering happened around the time that Pogs hit northwestern Indiana. I also
had all the Mortal Kombat Pogs and all the Power Rangers Pogs.
I've seen somebody have the Mortal Kombat Pogs poured upon their body out of a giant box next to the wrestle desk. So, Pogs, they're available. I bet if you contact that company, they will send you those pogs for free.
But yeah, that being said, aside from that,
Hey, this is a pog adjacent album.
yes, Pog. Also, before I move on to the next person, I also like that the Pogs Wikipedia article also lists the other international variations of a similar game, like Dakchi in Korea, which is really cool.
Pass it on the left-hand
I just
side.
learned something.
Yeah.
From Pogs.
That one is different. That one is you make these folded 2 sheets of paper into these like triangle things. It's interesting. I'll link the article later.
Yeah, link the article.
But yeah, Brett, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Have we talked about Pogs? No, Shelly. This album opens up really strong. It's very indicative of what you're going to get for the rest of the album. It's the simple punk progression. It's not like going to rock your world and melt your face, but it's spiced up and it's got like a bunch of upstrokey goodness and fantastic hook. And it's, if you walk into this album, you listen to the first song, if you're like, man, this sounds like trash. Well, guess what? It's going to be a lot of this. The song Flying, this is one of the more nasally sounding, like the first No Doubt album, like the debut. But with, yes, the one that I had because my friend's mom gave it to me because she bought the wrong No Doubt album. Yeah. That
So
was
you got
fun.
the good one. Sorry.
Yeah, it was
I
still
need to stop
sealed.
saying
It
that.
was
I'm
great.
I'm a douche.
It was the good one. It had the horns, which this album does not. But but the guitars on this album way better than anything No Doubt gave us in the 90s. There's like, yeah, it's something that I really enjoy. The guitars sounded really great for what they were trying to get. And the guitars didn't need to be that. They could rely on the vocals to bring people. But the guitars show up and they do things, and I'm better for it. And the song So Sue Us. There's nothing that is more 90s than this song. This is something that I do remember. This is a song that, like, I haven't heard somebody throw out the sue me as a response to anything in 20 years. So while it's not the like deepest track on the album, it certainly has its earwormy qualities. And honorable mention goes to Weo, because somebody was probably sitting around being like, "We write a song about the sound Weo Weo Weo," because we can write that into a song. I thought that was, yeah, yeah, hanging tough. Whoa, yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, there's like you could really dig into a lot of these songs because they all do a thing.
Yeah.
Like Patrick said, there is the ballads that come. There's a couple of those in every album.
Yes. Yeah, really solid stuff. Drew, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Shelly is an intro song. I think was really, really good. With the intro of the song and the underlying bass getting a bit of that like rocksteady vibe to it, I think was really cool. I think it was a really, really just get your feet moving right off the bat. Good for Nothing, the like slow, groovy, bass heavy song, I sort of love all of the time, always. And then Weo, the first verse being like that sort of heavy punk rock feel, and then the second verse going into like a pure ska feel. It is exactly the song you leave an album like that on, to sort of give you an idea of who the Dance Hall Crashers are and what they sort of do, going through most of their records.
Yeah, it's just some really solid songs, and I think the vocals really shine. I definitely like the vocals on "Good for Nothing." There was some like good back and forth, especially it has some good back and forth that I think caught my attention, was really good. But yeah, also like So Sue Us is like a node to Burkness, like, yeah, sue us, like,
Yeah, I've got a I've got a Stevie Wonder record and an 8-track player.
It's like it's a record and an 8-track. It's not even an 8-track and an 8-track player, a record and a record player. This is all I've got. I've got this broken amp, a pack of gum, and 3.5 shoes.
Don't fuck around with a guitar amp with a bad ground. That's bad news, kids.
Exactly.
Public service announcement.
But yeah, let's bring it back around the horn to talk about some conclusive thoughts. Brett, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
I mean, I came into this trying to make everybody think I would hate it, because I had a couple weeks to do that. But I find this kind of music endlessly listenable because it was the background music at DK's skate park in Kokomo, Indiana, in the later '90s, and this is something that would not be unreasonable to find in a Buddy CD sleeves in the back of his Astro van while we drive around and totally do legal things. It's worth a listen. Yes, way down.
How many Taco Bell stops a day were you guys on at that point?
We were so far away from a Taco Bell. Let me tell you, we had a pizza. We're talking about a town of 400 people, so
they did.
That's why we were in an Astro van to try and do something that was totally legal. Because
but they did take it fast and they did take it slow. That's down in Kokomo. Yes,
Kokomo, Indiana. When I was a kid, Kokomo, Indiana had 7 strip clubs.
Yes.
Now they only have
400 people and 7 strip clubs.
No. Kokomo, Indiana was those were 2 separate places. The skate park was in Kokomo. We had to drive a half an hour to get there because we were out in the sticks. Yeah. But somehow Dance Hall Crashers made it. Somehow in rural Indiana, I heard this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Drew, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
Like I said, Dance Hall Crashers is something that I should listen to way more of than I currently do. They're a good band. All the albums they've put out have been pretty solid. This one is probably the best one that they put out, in my opinion. And it's just fun. It's just, if you want a record to put on and just have a good time to, you're not looking for to dive into the intricacies of the guitar work, or you're not looking for somebody to say something super important in your ears that makes you feel like you can go out and fight the world. You're looking for some goddamn fun. Dance Hall Crashers, you can crash any dance hall near here anytime, and I would be super happy for it. So
Dance Halls, Ohio.
All those dance halls in Ohio.
Also, on Amazon, on the listing of the Pogs and frequently bought together, it is also paired with a set of slap bracelets and a bunch of nostalgic 90s stickers or photo booth prop kit. Actually, no, not stickers. A 90s party photo booth prop kit.
Wow, that's some SEO right there.
So somebody's arming their parties. So don't say there ain't nobody doing 90s parties out there. But yeah,
there's a place called Argentine Tango in Cleveland. Just FYI.
Patrick, what would be your conclusion on this album as a whole?
This album's been fun for me for as long as I've known about it. I think Brett probably heard it even before I did. I think this came to me a little bit later in life, but
I'm old.
Yeah, you're not that much older than me.
Enough for this album to hit me early.
Yeah. I think this is probably the best of Dance Hall Crashers, but they have at least 2 or 3 other records worth your damn time. So if you like third wave ska and you haven't gotten into Dance Hall Crashers because they weren't, the biggest band of that era, go back and correct that because they're fantastic.
Yeah, this is a fantastic record and you should listen to it because it's fun. Super fun. Let's get into our haiku reviews, people. The main event of the evening, what everyone's been waiting for, our haiku reviews. Let's get down.
Haiku Ryu is he's my main.
Haiku Ryu.
Zangief's my backup, but yes. Haiku Ryu.
Brett, what is your haiku?
A blast from the past. a vocal focused performance. I think it's groovy.
A pocket limerick Zangief.
Yeah. But when Hager's not available, I'll take Zangief.
Drew, what is your haiku?
Some lofty vocals. This band is a cornerstone. For me, needs more horn.
More
Human
horn.
horn.
Random thought. I would love a collaboration between the Choco Bros, Super Soul Bros, and Xavier Woods.
There would be a horn.
There's many horns there with
Yes.
those groups. Yeah, my haiku. I'll skip myself. Ska-punk party time, and everyone's invited. Yes, even you, Steve.
What? No, I do like the reference to "there's a party in my mouth and everyone's invited."
Yes.
I do enjoy that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, Patrick. Finally, what is your haiku?
Dueling harmonies sung over third wave ska. I really like this.
Yeah, that about wraps it up. Those are some nice thoughts on Dancehall Crashers. You can find this album on our Spotify playlist. Play Record Breakers, the home game. Follow along at home. Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence.
Diligence.
Diligence. Do your homework. Follow along at home. Listen before you listen to the episode. It's more fun that way. Listen to some of these albums because they're fun. On that Spotify playlist is going to be next week's record. It's going to be Brett. Brett, what have you? What do you have for us next week?
So let's say you're a punk rock band, and all of a sudden you get like a contract offer to a major label. Well, we're going to find out what happens when you do that. We're going to listen to Bad Religion's "Stranger Than Fiction."
Yes.
From their time at Atlantic.
Yes. Look forward to that.
For a hot minute, I thought you were going to say Elva, which would have been really strange.
Yeah, Bad Religion. Look forward to that. It's gonna be a fun discussion. I don't think it's one of those bands. I'll spoil my thoughts. It's one of those bands where it's like a lot of songs, but not an entire album until we did Against the Grain. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that is next week, and this is this week. You can of course find us all over the internet. Patrick is at the Swagger. Brett is at HibbiDiBiBird, HIBBI2RBIBBARD. Drew is at XDruciferX. I'm at PD Rave. The show is at 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. RecordBreakersPodcast.com. The episode links and episode notes and all that, and the RSS feed and whatever. And where you can also leave feedback. Leave feedback everywhere. RecordBreakersPodcast@gmail.com is the email. Rebelly.net for this and other shows. Rebelly TV on YouTube. Everywhere you find podcasts. Like, share, subscribe, comment, give us your feedback. Let us know your thoughts on the albums as you listen to them. Give us your thoughts. Give us your key tracks. Give us your haikus. We'd love to get those. We'd love to have some nice conversation going. Come back at us. Do all the things. Until next time. Hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo.